What the world? No. Lang. Bada bang. Bang 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 bang. Bada bang. Bang 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 bang. Bada bang. Bang 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 bang. Bada bang. Bang bang bang. Bada bang. Bang 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 bang. Bada bang. Bang 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 bang. Bang bang bang. Bang 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 bang. Bada bang. Bang bang bang. Ba ba ba. 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 Ba 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 Turkish civil war of USA. Part 1, the beginning. So hi guys, and welcome to a new episode on this channel, and today we'll be talking about the Civil War in 2 parts. We're going to first talk about part 1 in this video about the Civil War. Now the Civil War is an awesome part of history. I mean, I'm not actually prohibiting it should have existed, it should have always existed. No, I'm not supporting that. And I just mean that the Civil War is a very important time in history to study. Because of it, we've never have ever been here if we've never ever studied it. We would have even had another Civil War if we didn't even study this. I mean, it inspired a lot of movies like this one, for that matter. And who has one of my most favorite characters of all time. Yeah, I think you should guess who. Yeah, this guy. I mean, it inspired a lot of movies. Yes, that is true. But what did it actually do? What was its full potential? That's for some other video to explain, but for now, let's just leave it here. Yeah, I mean, it did inspire all of these Marvel videos, but yeah, for the long run, it's as good as good. Okay, so let's ignore this for now and let's talk about it. Now, this is what the Civil War was like during that time. These states succeeded. Oh, wait. These states did. Okay, this is the borderline of North and South. Okay, now these states right over here have succeeded. Wait, let me use white. Have succeeded the Union. And they have done a lot of their best to try to preserve their own slavery, and they freaked out that their slaves will be taken away. So they decided to do one thing that most people have never ever thought of doing back then. Succeeding for the Union. They believed that they were taking away their slaves if they won a war. But turns out the North would not even think of doing that because of a lot of reasons. Number 1, they didn't want to cause problems. Number 2, they would actually harm any slave, as President Lincoln said. And the only reason they succeeded was because they thought Lincoln was going to take away their slaves. Which was untrue, by the way, not true. Also, they succeeded because they thought they were unsafe in the Union, that they had to create a new country that they themselves would be safe from the Union. Oh, I see. And so yeah, this happened. And let me go and show this more visually. Now, this is very convenient when you think about it, and there is a lot of things. Now, firstly, the North was pretty much this. It was economically, very financially Protestant, and it was a pretty good one for that matter. And also, it was awesome at industrialization. Wait a second. Alright, so this is very more convenient now. Okay, so in the North, it was a pretty big tight race. Okay, I'm just going to delete this. And the North was a pretty big, tight race. This was a pretty big one. This side, the North was industrially more better than the South. Actually, let me show you a picture of an industrial machine I found. And this is what the North was more like. But for the South, they were more of the slave states. They were more of the slave states represented this. I think these should be switched though, because technically these guys are black and these guys are white, so they should have switched. But in this case, I'll leave them here because this is more better and more realistic, sort of. And so yeah, that started the conflict between these two states. Now, between these two states, there's a lot of doing things here, and then eventually states seceded, and well, yeah. Actually, let me use green to mark these states who seceded. These states that were not marked green are the ones that actually I'll mark the states that did not secede with green. The ones that are marked with green mean not seceded, but the ones who are white, I mean red, then that means they have not seceded at all. Actually, they seceded, but they're like more like anti-stuff than more of us. Alright, so technically these are still in the Union, so I'll cover them with blue. And they did a lot of things. People love having... Now, people sometimes think of war as a little game. And most children even think of it as too, and also experiencing real time inside their so-called fun games. They don't even think of the consequences that might happen. But in the case, once they actually see war and actually do war, they just change their mind quickly. And we'll talk about that at the end of the war, at the end of the videos. And now, the first battle was done at Fort Sumter, and by then, President Abraham Lincoln was president. Now, President Abraham Lincoln is an awesome guy with a nice mustache. He is an awesome president, and he could do something with like a black flip and quicker than a dot. Now, President Lincoln and his cheekbones, by the way, are gonna be pretty good people. Yeah, well, they've been pretty good for a while, so I'm just gonna say that maybe they'll be better than they saw. So yeah, this is my best drawing and tracing of President Lincoln. So yeah. And then it sort of seemed that that's what exactly happened in this world. People have been trying to find meaning in their life, but it turns out their meaning seems to be nothing at first. But then, yeah, it turns out to be something. So yeah, this is exactly what happened. President Lincoln tried to convince the southern states to not secede, but it turns out he couldn't even control them, so yeah. Turns out he couldn't even control them, so yeah, that was sort of useless. And then the North and the South started fighting after the fight of Fort Sumter, which in a lot of people in American history see it as the beginning of the Civil War. So then, how will it end? Will it be the North winning or the South winning? Well, yeah. Well, let's see in the next episode. Subscribe.